Welcome to Express Video Learning, presented by Cost Plus Electric Supply. I'm Eric, and we're here to show you. Today we're talking about RGB tape light. What does RGB tape light stand for? Well, simple, red, blue, green. It's going to use the difference of sequence of coloring to get all the colors in the spectrum ready for you. Here's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about American Lighting's new kits. This happens to be their RGBW, which means white is included in your tape light. And we're going to get into more of that as we proceed. And in this particular kit that we're looking at today, there is one 24-volt power supply, there is one inline receiver, there is one handheld remote, there is one 13.1 foot of tape, there is one 15-foot roll of connection wire, there is 3 tape-to-tape connectors, and 3 tape-to-power feeds. All right, let's get started with a really basic installation. This will utilize all of the pre-made components that are already in your kit. This is going to be a really out-of-the-box, simple solution for around a television, a barbecue island, something that's very simple to install, doesn't require a lot of locations and all that. So really, it's going to be quick and easy. First of which, you're going to go ahead and connect your components. So let's start. First of which, taking your controller and connecting it to your tape. You're going to notice that every connector has a little arrow, and what you want to do is make sure that you align those arrows correctly. So this one, we're going to flip it around. We have our 2 arrows together. We're going to line up our connectors, and we're going to connect them. Now, what we're going to do is add our power source. Simply add our power source, and we're go. I strongly recommend not to attach your tape until all of the programming and setup is done. Don't cut, don't do anything until you're ready to proceed and test. Your tape light will sit like this until you're ready to get to programming mode. Now with American Lighting, in their new Spektrum product, the app is required to do the pairing between devices. It's important that we go to the app now to do it. If you do not want to use the app in the future, that is fine, but it is still required for programming. Let's get started with the app. Any app store that you go to will have the Spektrum app for American Lighting. So you simply go to your app store, download your app. Once your app and your account is set up, you'll go to the add screen, and that's what it'll look like from here. We're going to go ahead and add device. Add device. This is a kit, so we're going to simply select out of the icons the kit icon. We're going to say kit icon. Now read the note below. It says confirm light is flashed. It has not flashed, so we need to make sure that this receiver is in program mode. Let's do that. The secret to this inline controller is we're going to power cycle it 3 times to 5 times in a very quick sequence. Ready? We're going to power 1, 2, 3, 4, and there we go. Notice our light is flashing, which means our receiver is in program mode. We're going to follow our unit, put it in place, and as quickly as that, it'll come up. We add the add button. It'll start to download the necessary configuration. You might see some color sequence change in the tape, which is good. And then you're done. Once the green check mark is on the icon, you're ready to go. So you simply say done. At that particular point, the app is going to take you to your first color wheel selection where you can start to play around. Here's the handheld remote control. Now when I say handheld, it is something that can be removed and set on a table or something near a lamp or a desk or wherever. Or it does come with this convenient mounting plate that does fit a standard Decora opening that you can actually permanently mount in the wall. That way it's up to you as to where you want to put it. It's simply going to have your off feature, your on feature. It's going to have your color changing feature, and it's also going to have your static white feature. You have a favorite scene button there if you did want to set a favorite scene. Maybe somebody really likes a particular color, you can always put it to that color and save it as a scene. Now, let's take a look at the app. You're going to see a color wheel in the middle, and then the static tunable outside white colors. Let's start with the CCT white colors. We're going to see the lower button in the right-hand corner that says CCT. Then we're going to simply select on our device what color we want our white to go to. Now this is only going to affect our white. So we're going to go ahead and select a 27K, which on this particular kit is the lowest light level that we have. and we're going to simply tell our remote to turn on. Now we're going to switch to the RGB. See the RGB in the left corner. So the RGB, now I simply just touch inside the color diagram, whatever color I want to choose. Again, in the lower bar, you're going to see that there is a dimmed level. That is going to allow you to change the intensity of your light. Continue to play around with the app. I think you'll find that your customer is going to prefer to have the app over the handheld remote, but it's always nice to have that backup just in case somebody's in the room that doesn't have access to the app. Here's where we're really going to differentiate between whether we want to buy a kit product or if we need to go a la carte. You'll notice some of the setbacks of using the kit product. You have to use the components as they are and start to modify them in field, which is not the easiest to do. For example, easiest part is actually cutting your tape to length. You'll notice that all of the tape will have cut marks on them. In this particular application, we can cut this about every 3, maybe 4 inches. Now also keep in mind, your tape does not have to go edge to edge. What you will want to do is cut it to the closest increment and then go ahead and center your tape in that space. The angle that the light is produced will cover any quote-unquote dead spots. The only time the dead spot is going to be noticeable is if you're literally looking directly at the tape section, which isn't going to be very common. So don't stress too much about getting edge to edge. As a matter of fact, you're going to want to give yourself a little room to play with. So cutting the tape is extremely easy. You're going to find your cut locations, just like here. We're going to find where we want to make sure. We want to make sure that our tape is not powered up because it will spark and it could short out a component. It shouldn't damage your tape, but it is definitely important. We're going to get a nice sharp pair of scissors. We're going to find our cut location, and we're simply going to cut directly in the middle of our contact points. Now, why is that important? Because we're going to want to reuse this. Now notice, in this particular cut, I actually didn't do a very good job, which means that this form of tape is probably not going to be as usable as this piece. You notice that I left a lot more of the contacts on. So what am I going to have to do? Unfortunately, I made an error that I'm going to have to waste. Let me try it again. So I'm going to go to my next cut point. I'm going to try to find the center part of my mark. I'm going to pay a little bit better attention this time. Now I'm going to cut down the center. Ah, voila. Much better application for me. Let's talk about extending components. Now that our tape is cut to a specific length, where are we going to put our components? Is it best to use their feeder wire to go from the actual controller to where you're going to mount your tape and extend that wire? Or is it better to extend the power side of the wire directly from your power source to the controller? I would strongly urge you, if you need to extend something, extend the power side of the control system, okay? If you are extending the RGB side or after the controller, think of that as extending 5 or 6 wires. And how are you going to do your connections? It can get messy quickly. If you're using simple wire nuts, or if you're using something similar to like a Wago crimp connector, either way, it's still a bulk of material that you're going to want to try to hide. And I would avoid it as much as possible. But with different locations, such as a bookshelf, or maybe as certain other areas as art or niche lighting, you're going to have to do it. And in that particular point, when you're using a tape to power feed connection, just keep in mind the fact that you're going to have to do all of these terminations. And that's a kit product for RGB tape light. The Spektrum product from American Lighting is available in both the kit and it's also available a la carte. Obviously, kits are going to have very big limitations as far as the applications that you can use them in. Very quick, easy to set up, that's for sure. But on more complex multi-location systems, we definitely are going to have to go a la carte. Check out our future videos on how to get more involved with RGB that your customer is asking about. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out other videos on our channel. New products, new installation methods. We can't wait to see you on the next round.